Money, Motivation, and Mike, MX3.VIP. And here we go again, Jason. An iconic place is going out of business. The beloved candy store abruptly closing all locations after 141 years and 5 generations of family members. Now, the name is Lamb Candies. Lammes. For many years, I called it Lammes. Now,
that's how I'd pronounce it now.
That's how I'd pronounce it now, too. But since I know a little bit more about why they call it lamb, let me just tell you this, and then we'll get into it. Lamb, the signage. You might want to make sure you put the sign. Can we get the sign on our show on the website?
Yeah.
Okay. The Lamb logo was part of the first neon sign in Austin, Texas, introduced by the company to clarify the pronunciation of the name Lamb, Lamme. So you see the lamb, that's why you call it lamb candy. Even though I called it llamas for a long time too. But nevertheless, it's lamb. Clarified by the Lamb logo. How about that? 1878. You think about it, here we are. 1878, 22 years in the 1800s, 100 years in the 1900s, and already 26 years here in the 2000s are gone. Do you even know who the president was in 1878?
No idea.
I don't either. I have no idea who it is. But William Lamb founded the candy company in 1878. And like I say, 5 generations of family members, and it has remained a vital part of the Austin, Texas, and surrounding areas culture, up to 7 locations once upon a time. Now, you would think, why am I talking about a company in Austin, Texas with our worldwide show here? Well, it's because they obviously were very big in the South, very big and with a lot of emphasis in the state of Texas, but they shipped throughout the world. They shipped throughout the world with their pecan praline. And I've got another little special deal here for you today, too, that I'm going to give you. But they've been working on this decision for quite some time. And unfortunately, they just have not been able to overcome the cost of doing business in this particular day. The company, originally called the Red Front Candy Factory, was on the 800 block of Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas. Now, you would think, how long has the web been around, Jason? 90s? Mid-90s?
Yeah.
Really got going when we got out of that dial-up stuff.
Oh, yeah.
In about, 2000, 2001, where I wouldn't say it was fiber optic, but it was getting better, the internet itself.
Yeah, some broadband.
Okay. So you would think over the 25 previous years that their sales would have just been astronomical due to the fact of being able to take an order online and frankly ship it that day if they so choose and had that much time. But for 125 years before that, people would actually take mail. They would, get this, they would mail the company. This is before Omaha Bell. They would mail the company a letter. The company would then mail them back a letter to show them how to order the candy. Then they would mail the letter back with their payment. And in the 1800s, was it even a check? I mean,
I don't even know. Sounds like some Sears catalog stuff there.
There was no catalogs in there. Mail them back their application or their order form, let's say, with however you paid in the early 1900s. Because I don't think there was even American Express. There was an American Express. There was no MasterCard, Visa, or anything like that. I don't think either. But nevertheless, mail the order form and the money, and then the company would then mail the candy to you. How long do you think that took for you to get a piece of candy in your hand?
I mean, you're talking tops 3 weeks.
Shoot.
Yeah.
On a horse with a wagon? I bet.
Where are we shipping to
well, in this particular
horsing
case,
this to? I don't know. You wouldn't say trucking it to, horsing it to.
Yeah, at this time, all over the country. They were not international at this time. But what my point in all this is this is how good this candy has been for this amount of time, all the way back to 1878. And that is why it's a big deal for me to come on our show today and talk about Lamb Candies based in Austin, Texas, almost 150 years ago, 141 years to be exact, and the fact that they are now going out of business. A very, very, very unfortunate. They actually, Jason, in the World War II days, they served ice cream and gave it out for free. It was called the Gem. Made of whole milk and frozen fruit. And they continued serving it throughout World War II. Of course, production was halted because of the lack of sugar. Despite the availability of sugar, the war, ice cream, it never really caught on again after the war. So that's why they did away with their ice cream during the World War II. Now, the biggest candy is called the Texas Chewie. It's the pecan praline. That is the one that has been their best seller to this day forever, and it is the one that has been shipped all over the country. It is the product that's been shipped all over the country. The praline is a simple dessert consisting of pecans. Now, you might want to write all this down because the only way you're going to get one of these moving forward is to make it yourself. And I have the recipe right here.
Well, we'll get the recipe and put it out there for everybody.
I think you should. Pecans, corn syrup, sugar, butter, and salt. That was all that was in there, praline.
Yeah, they didn't give you no measurements, though, did you?
You're going to have to work on that yourself.
You have to work that out.
Yeah, maybe they're going to put that out there for sale. Yeah, so and this is interesting too. The Lamb family produced their own pecans growing on their pecan trees along the Colorado River. Now, maybe to get the perfect taste, you're going to have some Colorado River pecans. I do not know, as a matter of fact, but they still opt to only use Texas-grown pecans up until the day now that they're getting ready to close. They only cooked their pralines by special order. All right? So they would wait until they had enough orders to make a minimum batch of 25 pounds, which obviously would then be shipped out all over the world. But you want a pecan. They don't have them sitting over here ready for you to just come by and pick up. I'm sure they do in their retail. I shouldn't say it that way. They're fresh all the time. So they're not going to be shipping you some sort of candy that's been sitting around for 60, 90 days. They literally do not make the candy until they have enough orders for 25 pounds. Now, when you have 7 stores and you're shipping all over the country, wouldn't you think that they're probably making this candy all the time? So here's the other thing with the pralines that I have told you that has been their number one. You had to come by the store to get that praline up until the 1920s. They did not make it public for, I guess you would say, domestic shipping until the 1920s. So interesting stuff. Many people are drawn to Lamb because of their old-fashioned recipes. Obviously, there were once upon a time storefronts up to 7, and their use of local ingredients such as the Colorado River pecans. They still use the conveyor belt style production, Jason. They don't have a bunch of high-tech stuff in there.
That's the good stuff.
They still put it on a conveyor belt and it rolls down the line. So their dedication to keeping their Lowell legacy alive has been major, major stuff. The 5 stores already shut down. Their next biggest store was Round Rock, Texas. It closed April 24th. And now their Austin location, which is at 5330 Airport Boulevard, that store will remain open, but is eventually going to close. A date has not been set. So I would bet that they are probably finishing off what little ingredients that they continue to have. So if you would like some of this candy, maybe we need to figure out how to order some, Jason.
We need some.
Why don't you get on that?
I'm on it.
If you'd like some of their candy, you are coming down to your finest, your smallest of days to be able to get involved in that. But it was the oldest continuously ran family business in Austin, Texas. And I would bet it was real close to being one of the oldest family ran businesses in the state of Texas, if not also the United States.
Yeah, I got a picture of the sign there.
There you go.
I only need chocolate.
Go ahead.
On days that end in Y.
Yes. And they put that sign up there. They put that saying with their number one selling item being a pecan praline.
Sounds good to me. I like it.
So, why is the chain closing after 140 years? The owners cited changing market conditions, long-term sustainability of their operations. Obviously, they would have to get some modern technology for what they are having to do. And the cost of product, they say now, is astronomical. Their pecans, now, tell me this, Jason, do you know much about these products that I just talked about? Do you know much about how, obviously the products that they use and products that you do in any of your cooking right now, groceries in general are, I don't know if they're at an all-time high, but it sure seems like they're at an all-time high.
Yeah.
You go in to buy a head of lettuce or a tomato, it's not quite the same price. Rice and beans, we got enough money to eat on rice and beans. I don't know if that's necessarily quite the saying that it once was. Yeah. And, they can't go over here and probably just continue to grow their price and charge for their product. And once again, because of their family values, just like this pimento cheese sandwich at the Masters that we've talked about in the past, they want to keep that somewhere to where you can afford it.
Well, and where they can even sell it, because if it starts getting too expensive, then how many people are actually going to buy it for that price?
Yeah. How many, you're going to go order you 6 of these pecan pralines and have them shipped to Italy. Yeah. And all of a sudden it costs you $100 for the whole deal. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to drive by the Austin even the Austin residents, driving by and picking them up 6 and still whatever the high cost of that is.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, the candy chain has made it that long, but it's also not a necessity. And the lack of it not being a necessity is what David Turner Lamb Sr. came to say with where we are today. One last thing that I want to talk about here before and how this company basically came about. David Turner Lamb, I don't know if you call him senior or whatever. Obviously we got several of the same name. When you're going 5 generations deep, several people are going to have the same name, like mine and your middle name, Wayne. Our brother's middle name, Wayne, named after our grandfather. And you know how all that works, on and on and on. And of course, if you're George Foreman, doesn't he have every one of his sons named George Foreman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's crazy. I love it, but it's wild. So David Turner Lamb Sr. came to Austin to repay a gambling debt of $800. All right. He pledged his store on a gambling debt. 1885. What could you have bet on in 1885 for $800? I mean, I wouldn't want to gamble $800 on anything today. He gambled $800 in 1885.
Yeah, what's the equivalent to today's dollar for that?
Okay. He lost the business in a poker game in 1885. How about that? I'm sorry. His dad actually did. William Lamb lost in a gambling debt in a poker game in 1885. $800. That's like all the money in the state of Texas, wasn't it? $800.
About 75% of it, I'm sure.
Yes, 1885. David Lamb Sr. comes up with the $800 and goes and pays the debt to reclaim the store as his own chain. How about that?
Incredible.
Now, where would you go and find $800 in 1885? That's incredible. Obviously, the denomination was around. If he's paying $800 for something in 1885, we were asking how they were paying it. And we have not talked about when was the denominations of money coming into play. The old half dime. Remember, it wasn't a nickel.
Yeah.
He has a lot of half dimes to get that debt paid off. $800. And then here we go with Lamb Candies over a gambling game. Incredible. So anyway, I would encourage you. We do not know the Lamb family. We do not have anything to do with the Lamb Candies, but I would encourage you to find a way to maybe get one of those into your mouth here in the, sounds like the latter stages of their company, because they will not be continuing operations for very much longer. All locations shut down except for the one their physical location in the Austin area. And it appears that they're just biding their time here before they get to the end of the day. And you may even find some at, they were big in they still are, I would think, at this particular moment. They're big in the airports. They're big in the hospital gift shops. Did you know that?
It sounds like something they should be doing. For
well,
sure.
they took pride in being in hospital gift shops. So maybe the Lamb Candy made you feel better about the procedure or whatever it was that you just went through. It sounds like there's a service there that maybe that needs to continue on. Probably not going to. Nevertheless, I'm telling you, you need to get a piece of Lamb Candy. Jason, we go off the air here. We're going to have to scrape up some dollars, get us one of these pecan pralines.
Sounds good to me.
And we'll eat it right here on the show. Coming to a theater near you. Once again, you can find me at MX3.VIP on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@MX3 Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Please go down and give us your comments. Tell us if you've ever had a piece of the Lamb Candy. I have. I don't remember the last time it was. But I have seen this lamb around forever. Never realizing until they're coming up here on their final days of exactly the whole background. So we're out here trying to get Lamb Candies one more worldwide shipment. And I'm sure they'll be glad to do it. Please send me any of your emails at info@mx3.vip. And anything else on that end down there, Jason? One last comment.
Yeah, I'm hungry now that you've started talking about pecan pralines.
Well, they also sell chocolate too, but I think we need to get us a praline. Until next time, continue to live your life the right way.